In the beginning of the movie, a scientist instructs his assistant to dispose of 200 bottles of a chemical into the river. The assistant, aware of the potential harm to marine life, protests, emphasizing the danger of the chemical. However, the scientist dismisses his concerns and insists on carrying out the task. Reluctantly, the assistant pours the 200 bottles of the hazardous substance into the river. 2 years later, the scene shifts to two fishermen working in the river. As they go about their routine, they encounter a bizarre creature with many legs. They speculate that this creature is a mutated result of the chemical pollution. The small, agile creature quickly escapes their grasp and disappears back into the water. Fast forward another 4 years, and we meet a shopkeeper named Gang-do. Gang-do is an ordinary man, seemingly unaware of the strange events unfolding in the river. Gang-do was a man prone to making small mistakes and often careless. He had a daughter named Hyun-seo, whom he adored and took great care of. One day, Hyun-seo asked her father for a new mobile phone, so Gang-do began saving money to fulfill her wish. Gang-do lived with his father, who also cared deeply for Hyun-seo. Gang-do's sister, an expert with a crossbow, was practicing her skills. Though she wasn't performing well, Gang-do watched her practice with Hyun-seo by his side. Their father approached and asked Gang-do to serve beer to some customers. As Gang-do served the beer, they noticed a strange, fish-like monster on the bridge. Initially, Gang-do and the others started beating the creature with the beer cans, finding amusement in the situation. However, the monster soon disappeared into the water. Moments later, the monster re-emerged and began attacking people, preying on them with terrifying ferocity. It beat and devoured anyone in its path, spreading panic and chaos. Gang-do is terrified after seeing the monster. He runs away to save his life. The monster attempts to eat a man, but Gang-do picks up a heavy signboard and strikes the monster on its back, causing it to bleed. Some of the monster's blood splatters onto Gang-do's face. The monster then reveals its terrifying face to Gang-do, and he watches in horror as it swallows the man whole. Frightened, Gang-do flees. Meanwhile, Hyun-seo and her grandfather are still watching Gang-do's sister's live performance. She loses the semi-final, and they continue to watch. Gang-do arrives, grabs Hyun-seo's hand, and starts running away as the monster pursues them. During their escape, Hyun-seo falls, but Gang-do quickly grabs her hand, and they resume running. After a while, Gang-do realizes he has grabbed the hand of another girl instead of Hyun-seo. The monster then captures Hyun-seo and drags her into the river. Gang-do is shocked and stands there in disbelief. We then see that the people who witnessed the monster up close are equally horrified. There were pictures of the people the monster had killed and eaten displayed in the hall. Among them was a picture of Hyun-seo. Seeing this, her father and grandfather become deeply saddened and cry a lot. Gang-do's sister and brother also arrive. His brother is furious and beats Gang-do, blaming him for Hyun-seo's death. He believes that if Gang-do hadn't mistakenly grabbed the wrong girl's hand, Hyun-seo would still be alive and wouldn't have fallen prey to the monster. Then, a man in a yellow suit enters the hall and asks if anyone has come into contact with the monster or been touched by it. Gang-do quickly raises his hand and explains that the monster's blood was on his face. Hearing this, the man orders his team to apprehend Gang-do, asserting that the monster likely carries a virus. We then see Gang-do's entire family, along with others who had encountered the monster, being monitored by doctors. At night, Gang-do receives a distressing call from his daughter, Hyun-seo. She is crying for help and tells her father that she is trapped in the drainage system beneath a bridge with other people. Gang-do and his family are overjoyed to hear that Hyun-seo is still alive. Filled with hope, they decide to report the situation to the police the next day. When they inform the police, the officer they speak to dismisses their concern. He explains that the virus in Gang-do's body is spreading rapidly, causing him to act irrationally and speak nonsense. The officer refuses to offer any help. Despite this setback, Gang-do's father has a friend who is a policeman. With his assistance, they manage to escape, taking with them guns, weapons, and other important supplies. As they move forward, they reach the check-in area, but are stopped by an officer who refuses to let them pass. This new obstacle threatens to hinder their progress as they try to rescue Hyun-seo. To enter the restricted block area, Gang-do and his family need ID cards, which they don't have. Gang-do's father decides to use the money they had collected for Hyun-seo's mobile phone. He offers the money to the officer at the checkpoint and apologizes, saying they forgot their ID card. The officer accepts the bribe and allows them to pass. As they continue, they see the monster preying on two men in yellow costume. The monster drags them into the drainage system beneath the bridge, adding them to his collection of victims. He announces that he will eat them one by one when he feels hungry. Hyun-seo is also in the drainage system, but she manages to hide in a small pipe. Using one of the victims' mobile phones, she contacts her father, Gang-do, to let him know she is still alive. Later that evening, the two brothers, who are very poor and homeless, steal his as much food as they can from Gang-doo's shop. They rely on stealing to eat. As they are making their way out with the stolen food, the monster attacks them. The monster kills the elder brother and takes the younger brother, Seju. The monster drags Seju into the same drainage system beneath the bridge. When the monster leaves, Hyun-seo discovers Seju and finds that he is still alive. She asks him his name and he replies, Seju. Meanwhile, Gang-doo and his family return to their shop, eat the stolen food, and go to sleep, looking very distressed. The next morning, Gang-doo wakes up to find the monster outside their shop. Alarmed, Gang-doo's father starts shooting at the monster. The monster retaliates by attacking their shop. Gang-doo and his family rush outside and continue firing at the creature. Overwhelmed by the gunfire, the monster flees to escape. They fire so many bullets at the monster that they don't even notice their guns running out of ammunition. Eventually, the monster retreats into the water. The sound of gunfire attracts the police, who start heading towards them. Gang-doo and his family move to the other side of the river where the monster is heading. Gang-doo's father takes a gun from Gang-doo, noting that there is one bullet left. He instructs his 3 children to flee the area for their safety. Gang-doo's father then approaches the monster and aims carefully. However, when he pulls the trigger, he discovers that the gun is actually empty and has no bullets left. Gang-doo quickly realizes that their guns are out of bullets, just as his father is struck by the monster and falls into the river. Gang-doo rushes to his father, only to find that he has died. Overwhelmed with grief, Gang-doo breaks down in tears. The police who have arrived at the scene start to move in. Gang-doo tells his brother and sister to flee, but he can't bear to leave his father behind. He decides to surrender to the police, who then take him into custody. Meanwhile, Gang-doo's brother contacts a friend who works as a call tracker to trace Hyun-seo's location. The tracker agrees to help, but it turns out he has deceived Gang-doo's brother. The police had actually placed Gang-doo's entire family under surveillance because of their connection to the monster. Now that Gang-doo is captured, the police focus on finding Gang-doo's brother and sister. The call tracker's betrayal is part of the police's plan to apprehend them. The tracker then returns to the office, having completed his deceitful task. The police and hospital staff, all determined to capture Gang-doo's brother, close in on it. The call tracker, who had tricked Gang-doo's brother into coming to this location, is looking to claim a reward for his efforts. Gang-doo's brother finds himself surrounded and realizes there is no easy escape. Knowing Hyun-seo's location, he disrupts the electricity to create a diversion and manages to send Hyun-seo's location to his sister before fleeing. Meanwhile, Gang-doo is subjected to various experiments and brutal torture by the doctors. Despite the severe conditions, he uses his intelligence to escape their clutches. Hyun-seo, who is anxiously waiting, believes that her father will eventually come to rescue her. Gang-doo's sister arrives under the bridge where Hyun-seo is being held, just as the monster attacks. The monster's sudden assault causes Gang-doo's sister to fall, putting her in immediate danger. The monster manages to escape, leaving Hyun-seo and Seju in a desperate situation. They attempt to use a rope made from tied-together clothes, but it is too short to reach the iron bar they were aiming for. Their chance of escaping is lost. Gang-doo's brother arrives under the bridge where he encounters a homeless man. He seeks the homeless man's help to get to the monster's location. Meanwhile, Gang-doo has also located the drain where Hyun-seo is being held. However, just as he arrives, he finds that Hyun-seo and Seju are inside the monster's mouth. Outside, people are protesting against the doctors for their brutal treatment of Gang-doo. The monster appears in the midst of the crowd, causing panic and chaos. Gang-doo and his siblings join the crowd, and the scientist who had developed a special gas to subdue the monster releases it. The gas causes the monster to collapse in pain and lose consciousness. Gang-doo manages to pull Hyun-seo and Seju out of the monster's mouth, but it is too late. Hyun-seo is dead. As the monster begins to rise again, threatening to attack, the homeless man quickly reacts. He pours an entire can of petrol into the monster's mouth. On command, Gang-doo's sister shoots a fire arrow at the monster. The arrow ignites the petrol, setting the monster on fire. The creature, burning fiercely, attempts to flee into the water, but Gang-doo intercepts it. He thrusts a rod into the monster's mouth, ultimately killing it. Despite defeating the monster, Gang-doo is left mourning the loss of his father and daughter. With Seju, who is also homeless and alone in the world, Gang-doo decides to adopt him as his own son. Over time, Gang-doo grows into a wiser, kinder person, successfully managing his shop and caring for Seju as if he were his own child. The movie concludes with Gang-doo's new life, having found a sense of purpose and family again. Thank you for watching.